watching Latino Talk TV. I'm your host, Jose Luis Jimenez.
And I am Ben Mendez.
Today we're going to introduce you to a new format at Latino Talk TV. It's the round table. What do you think?
I like it.
You like it? You know, we got a little bit of setup here, and we want to bring you into our conversation and help us actually discuss what we're going to talk about. In a little bit, we're going to put the phone number on the screen. Join us, please. We want you to chime in and let us know what you think about what we're talking about. So the format is going to be kind of like what we used to do in the past, but what we're going to cover today is going to be
current events.
Current events right now, and then we're going to bring on the executive director.
TBH Talento Bilingue.
Talento Bilingue of Houston. I hear they have some very exciting things going on here in Houston, and we're going to find out what's going on here. All right, so welcome and thank you for joining us tonight at Latino Talk TV. We're here in Houston, Texas at Houston Media Source. So, Ben, what's going on out there?
Well, I'll tell you what, I was excited yesterday. The Houston Texans are 9-1. Obviously, they beat the Jaguars yesterday in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a pretty picture, though. I'll tell you what, if I was the coach, I would have been a little bit upset. We're talking about a 1-8 team playing against an 8-1 team, and they almost lost it.
Yeah, I think they might have gotten in there a little bit too cocky. Either that or they were tired, or maybe they were preparing too much for the game on Thursday. But yeah, I mean, I was worried pretty much all the way through. I couldn't believe it actually had to go to getting tied up and going into overtime. You know, I was stressed out.
And Indianapolis is in second place. They're 3 games behind. So I think we're going to playoff bound. I think we'll be there. We'll have home field advantage finally in the playoffs. I know we're going to make it all the way through. I'm going to knock on some wood. We only got, 6 more games left in the season. The Texans are kicking butt and taking numbers. I hope nobody gets injured. You know, what do you think about J.J. Watt out there? Well, I personally like Johnson. Johnson did a great job. You know, he's been hurt for a couple seasons now, and it's good to see him back. He broke all kinds of records yesterday. So it was good to see overall.
Now, I understand that yesterday's game was very historical. They had on both sides of the field, or on both teams, we had runners that actually, or people who ran over 200 yards in one game. So it hadn't been done in a long time.
Well, it helps when you're going to overtime. You have that little extra cushion there to pick up those stat numbers. But no, otherwise, besides the overtime and being close, congratulations to the Texans for all the hard work they've done all season long.
But I got to say this. I don't know if you saw the pictures or the shots of the fans when they were losing. They're getting stressed out. They were losing faith. You know, it's like, come on, people. Don't get all worried about that. We got to stay behind the team. We got to make it all the way through.
Well, I went to the game, and I will tell you that the stands were full till the end of the game.
Oh, okay.
So it was a good game. I think people were a little edgy there because we're losing by 14 points in the 4th quarter.
So you went to the game and didn't invite me?
I did invite you. Sorry.
Man, come on now.
I'll tell you what, speaking of football, though, I went to go see the Little League football game, East End against the Magnolia Sharks. They were playing in Texas City, in high school football stadium. So it was great to see the little kids. I can't remember what age level, but they were tiny kids. Congratulations to the East Enders and the Magnolia Sharks to make it to the Super Bowl. And East End, by the way, won the Super Bowl. The
East End won the Super Bowl. That's here in the neighborhood right here, right?
That's right. That's right. And so hats off to them.
Well, congratulations to the East End. What were they again? East End?
Magnolia. It was Magnolia Sharks and the East End. I forget the mascot, but East End won the game. But congratulations to both teams because they made it to the Super Bowl.
Awesome. So what else is going on out there?
Well, I don't know if you heard, but on a serious note, there was a real serious accident. The veterans were having a parade in Odessa, Texas. And it was my understanding that there was a bunch of war veterans that were on a flatbed, on a truck. And they were crossing some railroad tracks. And unfortunately, some of them were injured in a train wreck because the train hit the 18-wheeler in the flatbed. And unfortunately, there was 4 people that passed away. Now, these veterans had already been through traumatic experience, and then to come home and face this kind of tragedy, I mean, what can I say? It was heartfelt all over the state for the families that were involved.
Yeah, I think it's more than just the state. I think all over the country, and it's a sad situation. I read a little bit more details about it, and I understand that the crossing arms were already coming down, the alarms were going off, and the driver of the 18-wheeler and it was a donated flatbed truck. You know, they were trying to do good and trying to help, and unfortunately they made a huge mistake. You know, he decided to keep crossing when the alarms were already sounding, and he didn't make it across. You know, and there's a story, there's a statement in there that one of the soldiers who passed away, one of the sergeant majors, I believe, was able to push his wife out of harm's way and to save her life, and he ended up getting killed. You know, it's a tough and traumatic experience they have to go through. We lost some veterans, you know, lost fellow soldiers out there, and I hope this never happens again, especially in, you know, in here in the States. I mean, it was a mistake, and we wish we could turn back time.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But there was also another story in the news recently. As you all know, the lady that was charged for leaving the household while the kids that she was babysitting were left in the household, and the house caught on fire. And she apparently was shopping during the time while it caught on fire. And some of those kids passed away and some were severely burned. Well, that lady was actually convicted this past week, charged for murder. Now, the sentencing is we're still waiting for that. So what do you deserve? You think she gets life in prison, 20 years? What is your impression?
Well, personally, I believe in the death penalty. You know, and it was her negligence, and she made some decisions that have cost the lives and the futures of these babies. Other ones, you know, babies got injured, and these families are missing their children from now on because of this woman's ignorance and stupidity. And I'll say that, you know, wherever it needs to be said, because this lady was running a business, and she knowingly left children unattended in that situation, so she knew exactly what she was doing. And I don't think anyone should have any leniency for that type of ignorance. It's totally unacceptable. And we as parents need to really pay attention on where we leave our children and monitor things that are going on. Because, you know, I have my kids in daycares and in the schools, but we have to be responsible for that. You know?
No, I agree. But I think the death penalty is a little harsh.
Why?
Because I just do. I think that 25 years is doable.
I don't think that's enough.
But, well, that's why we disagree. But that's okay, but we always disagree.
But why do you think she should be let off that easy, just at 25 years? She knew he did that.
She made a big mistake, let me tell you, leaving those kids in that home. And for them to be burned to death, that is inexcusable. But
and 25 years is enough? 3 days time served?
I believe 25 years is a
good...
With
the way the state works today, I mean, she's going to go in there and have a vacation and be out for 3 for 1.
Yeah, well, that's where you and I disagree. So we can always disagree.
Well, I guess I'm just harsher on punishment. I just don't have any leniency when it involves children. So what do you think it should be? Is it 25 years? And
25 years is a reasonable sentence, I believe.
And rehabilitation and everything's hunky-dory afterwards?
I mean, you look at these murderers out there. They're getting 10, 12 years, okay? And they plan to kill some folks. This was somewhat unintentional. I'm not going to say she did it on purpose or she didn't do it on purpose because we don't know that. We don't. But I think 25 years is a reasonable.
Do I think it was on purpose? I don't think it was on purpose. But when you own a business and you're responsible for children, you know, you take on an additional responsibility.
I'm not making excuses for her. I mean, she deserves to go to jail.
But only for 3 for 1 for 25?
I'm not saying that she needs life sentence. No, I totally disagree with that. I mean, we look at, let's talk about...
So if it was your kids, you'd be okay with the person coming out in 25 years?
You know, if it was my kid, I would feel the same way. But let me tell you, half of our jails are filled with folks that are doing time for drug charges. Half of them, okay? We spend millions and millions of dollars feeding these folks and housing these folks. Which leads to the next discussion that I'm going to lead into. California recently approved the legalization of marijuana, 1 ounce. Okay, what is your thoughts on that?
Personally, I think that to a certain extent that was a good move, because actually here in Harris County, we are actually getting away from prosecuting low levels of drugs. And that's something that District Attorney Pat Lycos implemented, and it lowered the number of people in the jail. So it lowered overpopulation, and of course of some other things in there too, including, you know, implementing a 3 for 1 program. But there's certain, you know, let's look back at prohibition. When we banned alcohol, it grew the mobs. It's the same thing with the drug systems. Do I think it should be a completely public type of situation with the drug world? No. But at the same time, we've also known that hemp has been used for different types of things. You know, do I believe in smoking marijuana and all that? No. But does it have a useful benefit for medical conditions? It does. It's been proven.
So are you saying that you are for
in Texas, if they offered it, I would.
Of marijuana.
If it's for reasonable purposes, I wouldn't be against it.
Okay.
But for just regular, casual use, I'm not open for it yet.
Because you look at many of these drug convictions, and the folks that are being busted are at the low level.
They are.
And
just like here in Harris County.
The people up here rarely get caught.
Mm-hmm.
So we're putting all these low-level people that are just trying to make a buck. Actually, they're trying to feed their families, a lot of them. And I'm not making excuses for them, but that's the reality.
Yeah.
They're trying to make a buck, a fast buck that is, and they get caught and they get thrown in jail. And then some of them are serving 10, 12, 15 years in jail because they're a runner.
So if they legalize the growth of marijuana in the United States, imagine that. What are the byproducts or the things that can actually be grown from the growth of marijuana? We got plenty of hemp. We got gels and all kinds of things, pillows, everything else that gets grown from it. So it can be a new industry that gets brought into the United States. And if we legalize it, you would kill the drug trade there. And you'd be able to collect taxes and revenue from that. Would you be for that?
Well, it depends on the legislation. It all depends on how it's structured. I will tell you this, that we have policies in place right now that are not in the best interest of the average citizen, the taxpayer. The people making the money right now are the people making jails and running those jails.
That's
you know
right.
that better than I do.
Oh, absolutely. That is very true.
You work for Harris County Sheriff's Department. You know that.
I agree. That's why I totally am against outsourcing jails, and I'm also against people staying incarcerated when they can't make bail. We have people who are poor in the jails because they can't simply make their bond.
And look, all you have to do is follow the money trail. If you look at the people that give money to the judges that are sending these people to jail, who are they? They're people that make money off the jail system.
Yeah.
There's people that make contracts off the jail system. There's people that make money off of individuals that are in some kind of process involved with probation or some type of juvenile system. There's people making money. It's a money industry.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, we as the average citizen don't know that.
Well, look at the court-appointed system that we have now, the court-appointed attorney system. Say that real fast 3 times. The court-appointed attorney system. The judges are still taking it upon themselves to not use the public defender's office. They choose not to participate in the system. They created a public defender's office here in Harris County that doesn't get used by all the courts. It's not a mandate. They still have the right to choose whatever court-appointed attorney they want to use. And how do we not know that it's the people who donate to their campaigns? Here in Texas, we still have judges that are elected. And those elected officials need campaign money. So where's their campaign money coming from? I mean, who else other than the attorneys that are benefiting and also the jails? You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. If you look at the dollars that it takes to house an inmate.
$70 a day at least.
$70 a day times how many jails, how many people do we have in the jails in Harris County daily?
Well, it used to be anywhere from 12 to 13,000 when I first joined the sheriff's office, and now the sheriff Adrian Garcia and the team has brought it down to I believe at 8,000-9,000, which is within their capacity. So it's great. We got the phone number on the wall on the screen. The number is 281-846-5079. We have a caller already. Okay, well, give us a couple minutes. We're going to actually get the phone up here. I'm glad you're joining us, okay? So,
right here.
Hey, it's right here. Thanks, John T. Okay. Hey, caller, you're on the air. You want to join us?
Have you ever inhaled?
Hello?
Have you ever inhaled?
Have I inhaled? No, I don't smoke. That's a good one. What's your name?
Greg Compian.
Hey, shit. Hey, are you going to show up or what, Greg?
By the way, viewers, Greg Compian was supposed to be here, but according to him, he couldn't make it because he was on the other side of town. But Greg, thanks for joining us.
That goes to show a lot about loyalty. I'm here with her anyway.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're here with us. So did you inhale or what?
Greg, did you inhale?
I plead the fifth on that one.
No.
Greg, are you for legalization of marijuana? I'm just curious.
Greg?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Come
Well-
on. I'm not talking about for your business. I'm talking about just in general.
Any level of legalization?
No, I think that it's a bad move. It sends the wrong message, and I think that ultimately we have enough problems already with the alcohol and the effect that it has on our community. So I really think that that's a terrible move for the state of Texas.
But don't you think it was a benefit when we stopped the days of prohibition and it stopped all the mobsters that were controlling the underground alcohol trade, and we brought it out to the public level?
You'll never stop it. That's kind of like prostitution. It'll never end.
So we can agree to disagree. We're talking about jails are a money maker, and it's not us that's making the money. It's the big contractors, it's the consultants, it's the attorneys. It's a big money business to send people to jail. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, y'all never did answer the question, either one of you.
Which one? Did I inhale?
Inhale?
I've never
Have you
smoked.
inhaled?
I plead the fifth.
I've never smoked. It's true. I was in the military. Trust me, all the drug tests are there. I never smoked. It wasn't something that ever attracted me.
Hey, you guys look real good on TV, man. I'm going to want y'all's autograph.
You need to join us next week. All right, we're getting back on the air, so you need to be here.
All right.
All right, guys.
Be careful.
Take care.
All right, Greg. We'll see you.
What else is going on out there?
Well, I can't say enough about the elections going on for the Senate race.
Mm-hmm.
As you all know, we have 5 candidates so far that I'm aware of. There could be more.
Senate District 6?
For Senate District 6.
Okay, just for the viewers out there, to explain to them what's going on.
Let me see who they are. Now, this is hearsay. There's no official candidates yet.
So let's make sure we call this part of the show the right thing. This is the Chismoso Hour.
Chismosos, okay. We have Carol Alvarado.
Okay.
We have Sylvia Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
Yolanda Navarro Flores.
She's jumping in the race? No, she wrote a letter of endorsement.
I'm just saying.
You're starting rumors over here. Okay. Who else?
We have Dorothy Olmos, and then we have Bray, the one that ran against Mario the last time. The senator's opponent, Mr. Bray, was the Republican candidate.
Well, I knew about Bray. I understand why he's running. He already ran one, so I can understand that.
Yeah. So
but Dorothy Olmos?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah. But the governor still hasn't called the election yet, so we don't know when it's going to take place. There's been rumors that it might be December, January, March. I mean, you name it. We've heard the month, but until the governor says this is the day, we are not going to know.
I mean, I don't think it benefits the governor in any way to push the election. It's just another Democratic vote that's going to go to the other side. I mean, the district's been historically Democratic. Is there really any chance of Bray winning? I mean, I hear he's a great guy, a wonderful person, a veteran, and my hat's off to him.
Well, you got to remember that Bray got 30% of the vote against the senator. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the Hispanic community is going to be divided. Obviously, we have a lot of candidates that are running.
But it might benefit Bray that the other votes get split up.
Well, I mean, you just never know what's going to happen in this kind of race. But it's kind of interesting, the dynamics, because you have all these endorsements lining up. Sylvia Garcia, ironically, got all the Hispanic state reps. We had Jessica Farrar, we had Ana Hernandez,
Armando
Wally, even Garnett Coleman were all endorsing Carol. I mean, I'm sorry, endorsing Sylvia. Endorsing Sylvia. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the dynamics.
So now, excluding dynamics, let's talk about their professional experience and their ability to bring that to the table to the Senate seat.
Okay.
Who do you think has the best amount of experience or the right experience to be able to, put all the pieces together? Because being a senator is not a simple thing. I mean, you were very close friends with Senator Gallegos, and it's a whole dynamic. I mean,
well, I will tell you that there's 2 people that stand out in this race automatically. We have State Representative Carol Alvarado, and we have Gracie. I mean, not.
Great. Now you're bringing Gracie Science into the picture. Okay.
Not Gracie
You're
Science,
starting rumors over here.
Sylvia Garcia, former Harris County Commissioner. Now, they both have a tremendous amount of experience. Of course, Sylvia was a Harris County Commissioner. She was a city judge. She was a city controller. And then
She did a lot of firsts.
And then Carol was a city council member and then a state rep. So they have different backgrounds, different personalities, and of course, different people supporting them. So it'll be a very dynamic race. I anticipate that those two will be in the runoff.
Well, I think so too, and I think what you just said about the candidate Bray, that's correct, B-R-A-Y, right, Bray?
B-R-A-Y.
Okay, if Mr. Bray is watching right now, you're welcome to chime in and let us know why you think you're a better candidate. Any of the other ones.
Supporters of the other candidates.
I'd love to dedicate them an entire hour and just let them explain to the viewers why they think they're the best choice for Senate District 6.
No, I would agree.
But if all the other candidates go in there, they're going to split up that block vote. And if Bray continues with his momentum and he re-gets those 30% again, you might have a good chance of staying in there.
Well, the other thing you have to look at is Bray is the only Republican.
Well, no, Dorothy almost.
Dorothy is a Republican. You're right.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see which way the Republican vote goes. Are they going to actually go with Bray or Dorothy, or are they going to actually vote for a Democrat?
Well, because in this race, it's not going to be.
It doesn't matter which party you're in. You're going to be able to vote in this election.
Well, why don't you just put your name on the list too?
I'll pass.
You'll pass on this one?
I don't want any part of that cat fight.
I'll pay for you to put your name on
there. I'm sure you would. I heard you were interested.
No. I got too busy working. I'm too busy running a family and a business. I know you didn't just call me a tea party. That is definitely not where I say. I'm a moderate.
Maybe Roy Morales should run.
Roy? People vote for Roy.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a great job when he ran for city.
I'm not saying he did. He'll split it up even more.
Yes, he would. Yes, he would.
Yeah.
So let's go national. Well, anything else on this?
Well, just I would say anybody else want to jump in and be part of this race, let us know. But we have not heard any other names. Of course, everybody's been talking about Rick Noriega, but I really don't think Rick's going to be running in that Senate race.
Why not? What's stopping him?
I think if he really wanted to do it, he would have done it by now.
Maybe he's doing the right thing and waiting.
Maybe.
But let me take this back. It's not being the right thing. That's not the right choice of words. Maybe he's waiting for the governor to make his decision, and then I think that's when people are going to start actually paying attention to where races are going to go.
But you know what, Rick, if he were to jump in, it would be a very interesting dynamic. He's the only Hispanic male that would run, if it does happen.
And the other veteran. And
a veteran, yeah. So it would be very interesting. Actually, I think people would pay to sit ringside in that.
Well, right here.
They would pay to sit
in our
ringside.
studio.
That's right.
We're going to charge tickets to come in.
Let's bring them all in.
All of them at the same time.
Let's do it.
All right, so when are we going to do it? Well, you know what? Whenever the governor actually decides to make it a real election, I think we just need to start opening up the doors and say, come on with it. Let's do it.
Yep.
So why should anybody care about this race? What is the real impact to the state for this one race?
There are 31 senators in Texas, okay? And there's one Latino from here in Houston, or actually past tense, Senator Mario Gallegos. He was a very powerful person because he was a senator. You carry a lot of stroke. When you have 150 state reps and 30-something senators, I mean, obviously the senators carry a lot of weight. So whenever the state reps needed to pass a bill, they had to have the Senate side carry the bill as well. So it's always good to have that supporter on the other side so to help carry those bills for you.
Well, depending on how it ends up going, right? I mean, when you align yourself up, before the governor even calls a race, all the state reps have already aligned themselves. So, it's interesting to see that happen so quickly. I figured that people would stay out of it as long as possible and wait till the very end. It didn't happen this way. People came out right from the get-go, took their positions, and are running with it. I'm glad I'm not a politician. I'm glad I'm not in the middle of all that. Because it's going to divide some people, and hopefully at the end of it all, we all become friends once again.
You bring up a good point. All this infighting in our community is not good for us. Hopefully we can all heal after this election and work as a group and move forward.
We got bigger things to worry about than just this, because we got to worry about the school voucher things, immigration issues. You know, there's more to Latino issues than just immigration. And I think Mitt Romney hit it on the head. You know, he thinks everybody's getting free gifts simply by doing this, and there's just bigger issues to deal with, you know. So let's take a quick break right now and come back, and let's talk about the national stage and what's going on out there. And then after that, we'll bring on TBH.
Don't forget, we got to talk about Victor Trevino.
Well, we definitely got to talk about Victor. He's a good man. This is terrible what's going on. So, okay, you're watching Latino Talk TV. We want you to join us. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Latino Talk TV. We're here at Houston Media Source, and we're about to jump into something that's, you know, really interesting. Constable Trevino, Victor Trevino, got indicted, you know, for misappropriation of funds, tampering with government documents. That's a laundry list of issues. What do you think about that?
Well, if you ask me, it all boils down to the Wayne Dolcefino case on Channel 13. He was really targeting Victor Trevino, and he did everything in his power to shine light on Victor. Good, bad, ugly, you name it. And I think it's unfortunate that the DA's office actually pursued some of this stuff.
Well, the DA had to do it. He had to do it because the jury that actually decided, the grand jury that decided to indict him.
Yeah, but the DA is the one that came up with the evidence, you know. Victor's a great guy. And I think, again, he's being targeted. We go back to, that reminds me of the Ben Reyes days, you know. When Ben Reyes, and I'm not saying Ben Reyes was innocent. I'm saying he was targeted.
So, so what do you think? It should just never target him?
Ben Reyes was targeted, and look at all the people that were targeted with Ben. Okay, they were all minority, every one of them. Okay, and it's unfortunate that we have this type of action by those that are in power, because they're from a different party.
But Jerry Ebersol got taken down.
No, he did.
Took him long enough to do it, but he finally got taken down.
But what happened to him? Right?
Well, yeah. But he's out of his seat.
Right. And what happened to Ben Reyes?
Well, he spent time.
Exactly.
But it's a very different situation.
Well, I tell you what. When you're talking about bribery, which basically was the charge with Ebersol, and also Mr. Reyes, you know, those are significant charges. And for Ebersol to be slapped on the hand like he was and wasn't charged, you didn't see him in shackles being carried off to the jail. You saw Ben Reyes in shackles being carried off to jail, and that was unfortunate. And I will tell you, you know, I was in the middle of all that stuff, and it was very disheartening.
We got a caller. We got a caller coming in. We got somebody on the phone. Okay, I think we got caller. You're on the air. You got a question?
Well said, Ben. I'm glad that y'all are talking about the Victor Trevino deal.
What do you got to say about it?
And what the comments made by our county judge asking the constable to step down, I think, are very inappropriate. And I think that our community needs to hold that county judge accountable for such a, I mean, if you look at, you were touching on it earlier with Jerry Ebersole.
But he didn't get asked to step down.
Asked him to step down. He sat on Commissioner's Court issuing millions of dollars in contracts. And not only that, now he's working for a large corporation doing business with the county. But since he was Anglo, he was a Republican, and I think that the county judge really misspoke. He spoke out of content, and I think that the Hispanic voters need to remember that when County Judge Ed Emmett runs again.
Okay. Good point, Greg. But you do agree with me that this was a targeted deal with Victor.
But I agree with you there. I mean, it's ridiculous what they ended up doing, and there's no intent. I don't think there's any malicious intent to actually try to defraud anybody. I just think it's sloppy business.
Well, let me ask you this, guys. Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty?
Yeah, I agree. He's still innocent, or why are you saying he's guilty?
I didn't say he was guilty.
No, I'm just making sure you figured that out. You're right, Greg. You know, it's going to be interesting.
Well, I'll tell you what. If Victor is watching this show, we're behind you, Victor, because we think this is wrong.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, they're going to discover that, yes, it was sloppy business, and what we as a community need to do is help each other's, small businesses, because a nonprofit is also a small business, and sloppy accounting is not an excuse. We have to hold ourselves accountable and be more protective. So for anybody out there,
voters who overwhelmingly voted Constable Trevino back into office.
Yeah, I think you got like 60-70%.
To make those type of comments. And I think Johnny Mata is going to hold a press conference tomorrow, and I would encourage both of y'all to be at that press conference, because never once was it made any issue when a commissioner sat on Commissioner's Court, issued out millions of dollars worth of contract, got charged, he's a convicted felon, and is still doing business with the county.
You know who he's working for now?
ESPA.
Are you kidding me?
No, heck no, I'm not kidding you.
Oh, wow. Just in case y'all didn't know, that if you have time and you can Google it, Google ESPA, ESPA Engineering, you'll learn the rest of it. Okay. All right. Well, that says a lot. Okay. Well, appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Talk to you soon.
Well, Greg, I think you should have been here. I think he wants to be part of the show, right?
Well, he is part of the show. There's no excuse that, now we can talk bad about him because he's not here. Hey, you can't use traffic as an excuse for not showing up when you're watching us on TV. What? So.
I'll tell you what, going back to the political, the fight between Democrats and Republicans, it's not just at the local level. It's happening at the state. It's happening at the federal level. When are we going to learn how to work together for the common good of the people? Instead of taking sides, you have the far, far right, the Tea Partiers, and then you have the far, far left. Those two are like totally extremes. But there's some folks that are somewhat, I guess, in the middle, if you will.
That's me. I'm in the middle.
So we need to figure out how we can work together for the common good of the people.
So what is the common good of the people? Let's talk about this so-called financial cliff that they're making up now, because I don't know if you noticed, but national media likes to use little catchphrases over and over again until everybody starts talking about it. Media really controls the next big issue. And, look at the talking points. Financial cliff is being said everywhere. I love watching some of those satire news shows out there, because they keep slamming us and showing us the truth about what's really going on. So let's talk about this financial cliff. What is this so-called financial cliff? Do you know?
I'm not very knowledgeable about the whole deal. So I would hate to give my misinformation out into the public.
Well, the little bit that I have started discovering and reading about is that come January 1 and for next year, a lot of these tax breaks are going to go away. And really, President Obama and what I would call, to the point, kind of liberal moderates are saying, okay, we have to control the situation for middle class and lower income people, but the top 2%, they're going to have to pay. So the so-called other side, and I say the so-called because we all want to make more money. There's nothing wrong with making more money. And what is a fair share that we're supposed to pay into? Even my accountant says, these low taxes that we've been paying for so long, we know this was going to end. you know, but we kept extending it and extending it, and what ended up happening, our country is more and more in debt. We had 2 wars to pay for. We still have a lot of situations. The recession kicked in. We have terrible interest rates. I mean, it has to happen. We're going to have to raise taxes to figure it out.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that. Today I came from a meeting with the governor's office in Austin. And what we talked about was taxes, taxes to small business. Most people don't realize this, but the small businesses are being taxed to death to cover costs. The small businesses are the ones that carried the burden for education here in the state of Texas. And let me explain to the viewers what I'm talking about. A few years ago, the businesses used to have to pay a 1% tax. This was pretty much the franchise tax, a 1% tax on income generated. Now, you're paying a lot more. You're paying 5 times as much, but you're paying taxes on total revenue, okay? For the IRS, you're paying taxes on profit. So if I bring in $1 million and I lose money as a company, well, guess what? I am still paying taxes for the state of Texas.
On the $1 million.
On the $1 million. But I don't have to pay federal taxes because I lost money.
Yeah.
Okay? The state of Texas is sucking up the monies from the small business, even if the small business is not making any money. So that was a big discussion at the governor's office today, and I tell you what, they need to change that law.
I agree with you. You know, and I say that as also as a small business owner, and it doesn't make any sense. I mean, we still, if you're a business and you're doing business as yourself, you know, DBA, you got the self-employment taxes, you got all kinds of other things. But for some of these small business owners that don't know how to walk into the benefit of having a corporation or an S-Corp or an LLC, those things, there's a lot of people that just ignorant, not an insult, but they just have no knowledge about how taxes really work. And they don't see that investing a couple of dollars into a good accountant, not an accountant next to the panaderia that does taxes, insurance, and everything else and cuts your hair at the same time. No, not one of those, not a bookkeeper. And in our community, unfortunately, at the small business level, they still spend a lot of time and money and effort going to people that do that type of work and
that are not qualified.
That are not qualified.
Yeah, they go to the notary public down the street to do their taxes.
A notario is not your tax man.
Or they go to the attorney to do their taxes when they don't know anything about taxes.
Yeah, all they did was pass the bar.
And a lot of times they'll go to friends as well that supposedly can help you with their taxes. You pay them, you know, some money and they do your taxes. But the reality is you're absolutely right. We got someone on the phone.
John on the phone. Okay. John, you're live on the air. Do you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, I got a comment about this. Y'all are talking about taxes and all. I just realized, I don't know if I haven't been paying attention or what, but I just realized that close to 50% of my income is going to the government.
How's that?
Good or bad?
How is 50%?
46%, right? It's like 46%. That's my question. How much? Shame on me for not knowing. But how much of my taxes is going to the government? I'm seeing reports on the news because everybody's afraid of Obama that they're saying 50% of my taxes are about to start going to the government.
I think that's your brother on the line. Is that your brother?
That's my brother.
I think that's a Tea Party.
No, my brother is Eric, not John. Eric Jimenez. But no, and on a serious note, I personally don't believe. Now, granted, I'm not a CPA and I don't do personal taxes. I do insurance. I don't do taxes.
Okay.
But no, I don't think that 50% of your income goes to taxes. Now, do you get taxed at different levels? And if you take the little pieces of tax that you do have to pay, do they add up to a lot? They probably do. But it all depends on your personal situation. You know, do you own property? You know, do you rent? Do you invest? Do you save? Do you lower the amount of taxable income that you actually report? For example, you can make $100,000 a year, but if you put so much money away into a tax deferred or an expense or an account that doesn't count against you, you can actually make $100,000 a year, save 20, 30, depending on how you do it, and only pay taxes on the 80,000. So you got to find someone that has the right experience to guide you on how to actually pay a good amount of taxes. And yes, the more money you make, the smarter you get, and the less taxes you want to pay. You know, because
okay, so you're saying okay, and I know you're not a tax specialist or whatever. So how much of my income do you think goes to tax? Just the general American middle class person. How much of their income goes to tax?
Who knows? I mean, last year I paid, what, 15% of my income. At least.
Said 50 or 15? I'm sorry.
15, 1-5. And that was on the lower tax bracket, and that's because I also had a business that posted a loss. You know, I started a business and I went in the hole.
Okay, so then all this hype from the media, from the news reports, you know, all these websites and all that are posting like we're about to go to 40 to 50% taxable income and that kind of stuff. That's all just hype and scare and fear tactics.
It's a financial cliff, you know, and it might be true to a certain point. Are we going to pay more taxes in the future? I strongly believe we will. I think a lot of the tax breaks are going to go away. You know, I just
okay. So where does the cutoff? Like, okay, if I'm paying 50% of the tax, I'm going to use that example because that's the fear tactic I've been hearing recently a lot because everybody's afraid of Obama and all that. They're afraid 50%. If I'm paying 50% of my income, is that justifiable to the freedoms that I have?
What freedoms do you have?
Is that right?
What freedoms do you have?
Of living in America. Obviously, that's what my taxes are going for, right? Because I've got a lot more freedoms in America than they do in other countries.
They do. You do. We do.
So where does my taxable income, where does me paying the government, where does that balance out from my freedoms?
You know, that's a good question. I don't know. What is a fair share of taxes to pay? And does everybody pay the fair amount?
You know, John, you bring up a good point. Also, there's a lot of loopholes. And the rich know how to save money through those loopholes.
Because they hire people that hire them.
Exactly. They hire the right people. So my suggestion to you, John, is that you need to go over there and hire a great CPA so that you, as a taxpayer, pay actually not less, but pay what your fair share is.
The fair share amount. What is the fair share? That depends on you and your situation. So
thank you, John.
Thanks for calling in.
All right.
Bye. You know, that's a good point, though. You know, because what is the fair share amount? I mean, should it be 5%, 10%, 20%, 30%? You know,
everybody's different.
Because we get taxed everywhere we go. I mean, heck, we pay taxes at the gas station. We pay taxes on food, anything that we buy. And honestly, we're not doing that bad because the restaurants keep growing. You know, regardless of what Papa John's and those guys are saying. I mean, when you own a mansion that big and you don't want to increase 14 cents on a pizza, you know, or you're intentionally going to cut the hours of your employees, those employees should realize that their management doesn't care about them.
Hey, let's change the topic here.
Why?
So we're going off the cliff because the world's going to end on 12/12/12.
It's not going to end. There's another Mayan story after that. I mean, come on. We're going to be here on the show.
You know, I was watching TV the other day, and they had some gentleman that was actually installing bunkers behind his house for his family living, and they had canned food and I forget what else, but they had all the items that they need supposedly to live after 12/12/12. So what do you say to people like that?
I think that they didn't realize that Texas floods, and I'm gonna be laughing when they're underground bunker floods. You know, why are you putting a hole in the ground? I mean, come on. You can put all that money into your kids' college fund, and then they complain they don't have any money for college. You know, oh, it's true. Think about it. People spend money on things that they have no need, and then they complain because tuition's too high, or their roads are too messed up. Yeah, you know, it's like you want everything, you don't want to pay for anything.
Well, then you have people that are liquidating all their assets because the world's getting.
Yes.
I mean, they're selling out property and the material goods, whatever they have to sell, they're getting rid of.
You know, they don't have any money to get buried. Yeah. The families get left with the debt.
So now what?
So now what we got to do is go buy all the Twinkies that are out there because the world's going to run out of Twinkies.
Well, I heard they were going to go out of business, and they got bought out by someone else. Or?
Yeah, I heard Bimbo came in. Bimbo
bought them out?
Well, that's what I heard last.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just,
okay. Did you hear?
I'm just being a chismoso right now, you know. So I don't really know who bought them, but I know they finally made out a deal. I don't know if it was the current owners or if a new owner came in.
And by the way, this is the real deal. Twinkies was going out of business.
They actually declared it shut down. Twinkies went out of the Hostess, you know, bakeries. You know, I would have, if Bimbo bought them, I'm very happy that they did. You know, because they get to save all those jobs and those families continue making a paycheck, and hopefully they establish a good profit sharing program that makes the families realize that they have to participate. You know, so let's see what the next move is for them. Hopefully everything works out.
Mexican zombies.
The Mexican zombies. What's the Mexican zombies?
Check it out. We have to talk about Zombies, Twilight, and Twinkies.
Okay, so we talked about the Twinkies already, and I strongly believe that an employee-owned business and profit-sharing structure is the best thing that can happen because the employees take ownership of their actions. And I also believe that the base should be taken away because when you have a foundation or a platform as an employee and you don't share on the profits and the risks as a business owner does, you really don't care because you're going to get your paycheck no matter what. You know, it's those that want to risk big should win big too.
You know, we have a profit share in my company.
Okay.
And I think it's a great model because you have an incentive to do work the right way and you have an incentive to save money.
That's right.
Yeah. So I'm in the construction industry, and if our project managers do well on their projects, they're given a bonus because they're in charge of that project.
Yeah, and I just actually today just remodeled our compensation plan for my business, and hopefully my employees like it, my team members like it. You know, they're going to go from being team members to partners because I want them to experience the good, you know, and also the bad. Because hey, if they don't produce, we all lose, right? And I want to make sure that we win as a team. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know about it in a few weeks and see how, actually by next year, and see how everything's turning around.
Well, let's talk about something else.
Twilight.
Twilight, the movie.
You watched it already?
No, I haven't seen it, but I heard there was some great reviews on it.
Don't tell nobody. If you're watching, don't tell anybody. But I was in Austin over the weekend, and I had to see it at midnight.
So tell us about it.
It was good. I stayed awake. I only took one nap in the middle of the movie, and if you know me, if I fall asleep within the first 5 minutes, the movie was terrible. So I actually stayed awake to about more than halfway through, and it's worth it. You know.
Well, our producer John T has seen it twice.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I can believe that from John T. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's gonna probably see like 3 or 4 more times. He's just such a. He's got the Twilight T-shirt and everything. So we'll see how that goes. You know.
Well, I mean, he's a Star Wars fan as well. I mean, he's watched every Star Wars movie there is out there.
I think he's gonna turn his green on the screen in a little bit because we're talking smack about John T. Powell right now. He's walking in the studio. He's gonna get mad at us.
So John T's gonna take it out on us now.
And last but not least, let's get into what we actually came to do.
Which was?
We gotta talk about Talento Bilingue de Houston.
You know, we have the director of Talento Bilingue actually working in the studio, Javier Perez, and I think we need to bring him out. What do you think?
I think so too.
I think we need to pull him away from behind the camera and bring him right here so that he can talk about Talento Bilingue.
Can the camera pan and show our executive director before we go into a break? Show him on the screen. Camera. There he goes, right there.
So we're gonna take a quick break.
Multi-talented individual.
So we're gonna take a quick break.
We'll be right back. You're watching Latino Talk TV. We'll be right back. So welcome back. You're watching Latino Talk TV with our empty glasses of water here.
Actually, I think they had bourbon in them.
It had bourbon.
Tequila.
So it is. Well, welcome Javier to our show. Javier Perez, Executive Director of Talento Bilingue de Houston. Thank you for joining us on this side of the camera, because you're always on the back side of the camera.
It's great to be here.
By the way, Javier is always behind the scenes, and it's good to have him in front of the camera.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad to be here. It's something I got in my resume.
Good, good. So tell us what TBH is doing and a little bit of a history so we can know what it's going into.
Well, TBH has been around, I believe, since around 2002, I believe, and about the same time that NHPO started, isn't it, Ben?
I can't remember the exact year.
Yeah, but it was a multicultural center, I think, started by Richard Reyes, Pancho Claus, probably more than 10 years ago, and it's just been a work in progress ever since. Now it's more of a multicultural center. Well, actually more Hispanic, Latino cultures. I mean, we try to have representation from all the cultures: Cubano, Venezolano. We've had, of course, Mexicano, Salvadorian programs, and we've even talked to a lot of the different embassies from the Latino countries, try to get them to help us with programming here. So it's like I said, it's still a work in progress, and one thing that I want to try to bring to the organization and to the East End. Like I said, we're right on the forefront of the East End, right off of Navigation and Jensen Drive, right across the street from Alea Guadalupe Church. That's been the home there for many years, and we want to bring more community responsive type programming to there, and also we'd love to bring in more kids programming.
Well,
so,
I know that they're having a big event coming up. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yes, the Glitter and Glitz event, which is our big fundraiser for Talento Bilingue. We are 501c3, so money is the main blood of the organization. So this is how we're trying to pay the bills and expand our program. So the Glitter and Glitz fundraiser is on Friday, November 30th, which is a little less than 2 weeks away. It's a week from this coming Friday, and it will be at Talento Bilingue on 333 South Jensen Drive, right across from the street from Guadalupe Church.
So the women are going to be able to do what?
They are going to go into the building and be pampered.
Be pampered.
They will have indulgences,
massages,
haircuts,
pedicures, manicures, haircuts too.
We're going to have haircuts there, manicures. I think we have some tanning. They're going to do some self-tanning.
Yeah.
Now, Latinos needing self-tanning, come on now. But that's what we're going to have.
Have you looked at my skin? I need a tan. This is I got the farmer's tan going.
And don't forget the doghouse.
Oh yes, and that's new for this year. We will have outside in the alley of the TBH, we will have a doghouse, which the gentlemen that want to come leave their ladies at the Glitter and Glitz will have a place to go smoke cigars, have a few drinks, have a little food, and just have all around. And we call that the doghouse. So
you got to understand that last year the gentlemen were not allowed to come.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this year they're allowing them to come, but they're going to have to spend some time in the doghouse.
That's right. That's
so
right.
What are the men getting?
Well, the men it's for the price of admission. They're getting cigars. No, I don't think the ladies would like it.
Well, they're getting it. You got to have equal treatment, What's
it's different when a man gets a massage and a lady gets a massage. Believe you guys. Let's not go there.
And the reason why they have a doghouse this year is because Javier's always in the doghouse.
Yeah, I heard that too.
I kind of do. My wife is my wife. I love my wife to death, but I'm always saying something that upsets her. So I'm always in the doghouse.
So for the viewer that's out there watching, what are the specifics that TBH provides to the community in regards to arts and things like that?
Well, we try to bring theatrical type events and musical dance. Matter of fact, we have two excellent ballet folklorico groups that are headquartered there at the TBH. We have the Alegría Mexicana that is run by Mr. Isidro Salas, who's been doing it for years. A fantastic gentleman. And matter of fact, they just had a show yesterday at the Jewish Community Center. So they're just a very talented group of dancers that he has. We also have the Ballet Folclórico Xochipil, run by Gerardo Mercado, another great group. His is more youth-oriented, though, so they do have adult dancers, but he has a little more youth-oriented group there, and it's a fantastic group.
But the dance groups are not part of your deal, right? They're separate and apart, but they just practice there.
We're their home, right? We're their home,
Okay.
and they're not. I mean, we don't pay the instructors, but
Right.
that's, you know, we have facilities. We have a very nice dance studio with the dance flooring. So
if kids want to participate, they can go there and register.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And one thing that like I said, that I'd like to bring is more community-based programming. So we're looking at adding a ballet, a modern dance. We've contacted with an instructor that has done it before in the area, and matter of fact, she's bilingual, so she wants to bring the English and Spanish speaking kids and do that. We want to become, like I said, we want to become more responsive to the community.
What about mariachis? Do y'all have a mariachi group that performs there or practices?
Nobody, not yet, but that's one thing that we're looking at.
You know, he's a mariachi singer.
Yeah.
Who, Jose?
You didn't know that?
I don't know Jose was a mariachi singer, really. No. What now? I don't want to brag. But I do a little bit of that myself.
I wish I could sing. I sing in the shower. That's about it.
Our producer John T can give some great dancing lessons. By
Yes,
the way.
he can.
Oh, yeah.
He can do some great Michael Jackson moves.
Oh, you're kidding
He
me.
does a moonwalk like no other.
Oh, man.
see him.
I need to see that. I need to see that.
Man, goodness. Well, actually, right next to y'all, Guadalupe Church, they have some really strong Matachina groups.
Oh, yeah?
You know, the local churches could be a great avenue.
Exactly.
And let's say there's somebody watching the show right now. You know, how can they contact you to connect? If they need a location to practice, you know, what are the requirements? What do they need to do to become part of your umbrella?
You know, they could either talk to myself or you know, we have our staff there is very just a really strong staff, especially as far as the arts go. Alex Hernandez is the facilities manager. He's always willing to help. He helps run the theatrical group, the Express Artes, and our interim artistic director, Mr. Carlos Garcia from Cuba. Matter of fact, emigrated from Cuba about 2 years ago, and he was one of the most decorated theatrical persons to come out of Cuba in a long time, and we're lucky that we have this gentleman. I mean, this gentleman knows theater and knows the whole industry back and forth. His only drawback is he's not real good in English, but we're helping him. He's helping me with my Spanish. I'm helping him with his English.
I'm just curious, how are you all funded? Is it through the city or is it through donations?
It's all privately funded. You know, we're looking for you know, donation wherever we can get them. Corporate sponsors. I mean, you know, it's totally our building itself is a city-owned building. We rent it from the city, but we still have to pay money for that. So, it's something that it's a constant struggle to get that dollar bill.
You don't get the $1 a year deal that they got on the west side.
No, we don't get the $1 a year deal. I'm sorry, I'm afraid. We don't have to pay the full expenses, but we pay quite a bit. We pay quite a bit there. So
for any corporate donors out there that are looking for extremely good tax write-off, or any private donors, here is a 501c3 that could, you know, you can give to and help improve the community, improve the arts in the community.
Well, not only that, get the kids off the street.
Get the kids off the streets.
Doing something productive.
Absolutely. So if you want to do that, please call the number on the screen. Actually, you know, Javier, give the number where they can reach you at.
Let me see. You know what?
He calls himself so much if you got his number. You have
I've only
a
been there a
website.
few weeks. Yes, well, we have the website.
You're fired.
You're fired. Don't have your own phone number.
You know, my wife is in the booth. Pat, could you put that number, please, across the screen? There it goes. 222.
She saved
1213. There you go. I knew she would know it. That's why I married that woman. She's always there watching my back.
If you love the arts, especially Hispanic arts or any Latino cultural arts, please help Talento Bilingue de Houston. They need your support so we can continue improving the community one child at a time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We can really
thank you for coming out.
Hey, I was in the building, so, you know.
That's right. Thank you so much. And you're watching Latino Talk TV. Once again, TBH, 713-222-1213. They need your help. They need your support, especially financially. So, you know, help them, please. And on that note,
Glitter and Glitz next Friday.
Glitter and Glitz
a week
next
from
Friday,
Friday.
TBH.
We'll see you there.
Please check our website out.
On behalf of Latino Talk TV and all our staff, thank you for watching tonight. We'll see you here next week.
Man.